Hi, my name is Marcia, and welcome to another in the series, It's My Story. Before I go into my story this morning, I want to ask you to do me a favor. If you know of someone who has had an experience with childhood sexual abuse, will you please provide some strong support for that person? Provide some support for that person. You see, the emotion that person may be having, you cannot see it on the outside. But on the inside, there could be an internal war going on in the mind, and it affects the entire body. You see, people have had childhood sexual abuse experience oftentimes feels as if they want to step out of the body that they are in order to find the body that they desired to be in. Some people may feel as if they're in the world, but the world has collapsed on them. Some people may feel as if they are on fire, as if somebody set them on fire, but they are not burning physically. You see, if you're in your house and a family member say, I am feeling sick, you may see the sign, and the person may tell you of the symptoms that they're having. But when a person is having an emotional distress, unless they act out by doing something wrong, you cannot see it and you cannot know what they're going through. And that is why a lot of persons who have had an experience with childhood abuse has committed suicide. They turn to drugs, some people turn to promiscuity, some people turn to alcoholism. It is to ease the pain that nobody can see that they're going through. And so I'm saying to you, if you know of any person who has had an experience with childhood abuse, I beg of you, provide some support. I also want to state clearly, I am not a doctor. I am not a psychologist. I am not a counselor. This platform is not to provide counseling for anybody. It is not to provide any form of advice. I'm just sharing my story, and you'll hear different types of my story and how I made it out. And the hope of sharing my story is that even one person in this world who has gone through or is going through what I went through or what I've experienced may recognize that, hey, there is one person who has had the same experience as I have had or as I am having, but that person made it through. Hence, I believe that I can make it through as well. That is my hope. So here's another in my story. So my brother and I were talking recently about my father and his situation and how he needs help with his housing. And my brother said to me, hey, sis, my father did it wrong. He should have taken care of us. He should have taken care of his children, and we would be able to take care of him now. So I said to my brother, listen, honey, have you heard what that man has done to me? And he said, no, not really. He heard a little thing, but not really. The long and short of it is this. I tried to explain to him. And I'm saying to you, or you can share it with somebody that you know who is struggling to love a parent or both parents who has done them wrong, a parent who has done them wrong, or both parents who have done them wrong, and that person is struggling to love and forgive their parents. Please, if you share this, I hope it will help them. I said to my brother, of the 8 of us, None of us has been treated properly by our Father. Not one of us. All of us has been treated badly. He didn't take care of us. Some of us got some terrible beating from him. And some of us, he treated all of us so poorly. But I do believe that I got the worst treatment from our Father. Why? I got it sexually and physically. And when that was not enough, and he found out that I was pregnant, what do you think he did? He went and paid another man who was 10 years older than me to come and live with me to cover up what he had done. And that became a nightmare to me. A nightmare to me. Watching these two men, grown men, taking turns at me. And you know what? I was only 13 years old. I was only 13. I couldn't help myself. And the first thing he did was to cut my mother off from me and cut me off from my mother. So I couldn't go where my mother was. He told my mother a lot of lies on me and poisoned her mind against me. To this day, my mother couldn't understand, or still does not understand, what it was or how he managed to manipulate her mind so badly that she resented me so much. And she did not know it was to cover his tracks. And so at the age of 13, I found myself being impregnated by my own father. And then he turned around and paid somebody to come and abuse me on top of it. That's not what I wanted for myself. I wanted to be a doctor. The only thing I wanted was the chance to go to school and learn and become a doctor. And so of all of us, I believe I was treated worse than anybody else in the family. But you know what I have done? I have chosen love over hate. You see, Matthew chapter 5 and verse 44, it says here, "But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despisefully use you and persecute you." And I'm going to say, and abuse you too. So when I'm eating my dinner, I am concerned whether my father is eating or not. Yes, he has done me wrong. Too much. I cannot describe that experience in my videos in totality. I have to talk about them in bits and pieces, or I'll have to write a book about it. But I have chosen love rather than hate. I have chosen peace rather than wrath. I have chosen positiveness rather than negativity. And I want to say to a child today, if you grow up knowing that your parents has abused you, or your parents have abused you, or your parents have abandoned you, I know it is not easy to cope. I know it is difficult to deal with. I know the emotional pain is hard to bear. I have been through it. I am still going through it. Because every factor in life affects the way you felt. And your experience affects every factor in life as you grow older. But I have made the choice to be a different person. I have made the choice to change the way I think. And so I want to say to you, love. The Bible says in, I believe it is in 2 Corinthians 5 and verse 14 says, for the love of Christ constraineth us. No matter what your experience is, no matter what your experience has been, no matter what the experience you are now having, there is still a chance for you to make a choice, to make a positive change in your life, in the situation, about the situation, and around the situation. Don't let it devour you. Don't let it conquer you. You conquer that situation. I love my father. I love my father. Every time I eat, I think about him. Every time I can afford to send money for him in Jamaica, I send money for him. I don't want to hear that the one thing that he's in need of right now is housing. And that's what I'm pushing forward to get done for him. Get him somewhere stable to live in his old age. Why? I'm not doing it for him. For what he did to me, I'm not doing it for him. I'm doing it for God. I'm doing it for love. I'm doing it for my kids who are coming behind me, so that the blessing that God will have to give me will fall on them. I want to say to my brothers and my sisters, I know we all have been hurt. One of my brothers told me, I have never even seen a picture of that man. But I want to say to my brother, you can choose. You can make the choice to reach out to your father. You can make the choice to love him. Many people around the world has gone through the same situation, but they make the choice to be a part of the father or the mother who has abandoned them, who never took care of them. They made the choice to be a part of their lives. In fact, looking back, I want to say, right now, I would rather choose being abandoned by my parents. I would rather choose being beaten by my parents than the experience I had with sexual abuse by my father. I would rather, if he was a person who beat me mercilessly, and if he had abandoned me and never took care of me, I would rather that than the experience I had with the level of abuse I went through and what he did to cover it up. I have tried many times to disseminate the way I've felt. And even now, the hurt that it brings to me sometimes. But I said, no, I am bigger than that. I'm not going to let it hold me down. I'm not going to let it keep me down. And I'm saying to you today, make the choice. Make the choice to love those who has hurt you. Make the choice, and make the choice for yourself. Do not become drawn up with the negativity and the negative vibes of life. Make the choice to be positive. Make the choice to love you. Love yourself. If you have experienced anything that perturb your peace of mind, choose to love yourself. But above everything, choose to love God. Remember, for the love of Christ constraineth us. Remember again, I read for you. Matthew chapter 5, 44 says, but I say unto you, love your enemies. Bless them that curse you. Do good to them that hate you. And pray for them that despisefully use you and persecute you. And I am adding, and abuse you. Make the choice today to be that better person. Don't let hatred drown your soul. Don't let hatred drown your mind. God bless you. Have a great day.